Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's virtual info session. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes while you all jump on to get yourselves situated. But I would love to see where everyone is coming from today. So if you'd like to drop into the chat, which I believe you all have access to, go ahead and just share your name and where you're tuning in from. We can see where in the world we're all coming from today. So I can start. My name is Tiana, and I am actually in Seattle because I recruit on the West Coast for Skidmore. It's 4 p.m. where I am, but I'm interested to see where everyone else is coming from today. Oh, the chat is disabled. Sorry about that, you all. You can just, yeah, so you can just drop in the Q&A where you're coming from. And then since you all found the Q&A as well, that is where we are going to put our questions throughout the session. So if you have a question that comes up while I am sharing some information, you can go ahead and drop it in the Q&A and we will try to answer as many questions as possible tonight. But let's see. So looks like we have Connecticut in the house. We have South New Jersey. We have NYC, Jersey City, Bedford, New Hampshire. We have Maryland in the house. We have some more Connecticut, more Jersey and Connecticut. We have Denver, Colorado. I love Colorado. It's one of my recruiting territories. I'm a little biased. Connecticut. We have Bolivia. We have more Colorado, Jersey, NYC. I'm originally from New York City. I'm originally from Queens in New York, and then found myself out in Seattle. All right. Well, I will go ahead and get started. But my name is Tiana Rivera, and I am the Associate Director of Strategy and Outreach with Skidmore College. Like I mentioned, I am based out in Seattle, so I recruit on the West Coast, and I also recruit outside of kind of like the Colorado area too. So hopefully we'll get to see you all in the fall. If you are in the Seattle area, Portland, Bay Area, Los Angeles, San Diego, just the whole coast. Um, but we also have two current Skidmore students with us tonight as well. I'll give you all a minute or two to introduce yourselves if you'd like to.
Aiden, go for it.
Okay, so yeah, thank you. My name is Aiden. I am a rising senior and I'm from Maryland. I was born in Baltimore, so I saw the one of you put that. Shout out Baltimore. So I am an environmental science major here, and I'm also on the swim team. And aside from my work in admissions, some other things, I work as a peer academic coach for the Environmental Science and Studies department. That's just sort of like drop-in tutoring. And last semester I studied, or last fall, I studied abroad in Ecuador. And I did an incredible program in there that I'll talk more about later. But yeah, involved in on-campus research here also. And I'm also a member of our radio station. So that's cool. We have a radio called WSPN. There's a streaming link, and students get a show for like an hour every week. So I have one on Sunday mornings.
Cool. I'm Teo. Very nice to meet you all. I'm from Stamford, Connecticut. Shout out Connecticut. I saw a bunch of Connecticut's in there. I'm a studio art major concentrating in digital media and film. Outside of admissions, I work in the equipment cage in the art building. That's kind of, I rent out audio visual equipment to students who need to work on projects. I also do freelance video work on and off campus. I take voice lessons and I also intern for the Ukrainian Classical Voice Project. And over the summer, I am working for the admissions department as a tour guide and doing art or inventory in the art department.
Thank you all. So excited for tonight's info session. Like I mentioned earlier, we are going to kind of walk through a bit of who we are here at Skidmore and hopefully answer some more of any questions that you may have and that you are wondering about. And then towards the end of our session, we'll have about 5 or 10 minutes to kind of comb through the Q&A and see if we can answer any of these questions live. And if we don't get to your question, no worries at all. You are always more than welcome to reach out to our admissions office. You have an assigned territory manager as well, that recruits in your region that is more than happy to connect with you. But truly, we would love to connect, regardless. So you can give us a call, you can reach out to us at any point. But I will go ahead and start off with just a little overview of Skidmore College in general. So, Skidmore College is a private liberal arts college. We have about 2,700 undergraduate students here. And so, your average class size is going to be about 16 students in each classroom. So, I would say there's going to be a lot of discussion-based, hands-on, like one-on-one learning. So if that is more of your style, Skidmore might be a really good fit for you. We don't have a ton of huge lecture classes. So you're really going to get to know your professors and your classmates as well. 94% of the classes have less than 30 students in them. So again, really great opportunity for students to have that discussion-based learning, drop into your professor's open office hours so that you can get to know them. And I think it's a really great way to create those relationships as well. We have some popular majors. We have a lot of majors to choose from, but the popular ones that we have on campus include business, which you don't see at a lot of liberal arts colleges. So I always like to point out our business major. Psychology, we have economics, English, theater, biology, environmental sciences. Those are some of our top majors, but we have over 40 majors that you can choose from and minors. 75% of our students are actually double majors or they have a major and a minor. So we really like to encourage students to try a little bit of everything at Skidmore. You don't have to lock into just one interest. You are really encouraged to try something new or mix up the realm of things that you are interested in. We're located in Saratoga Springs, New York. So that is centrally located about 3 hours north of New York City, 3 hours south of Montreal, Canada, and 3 hours west of Boston. So very easy to get to and from around the Northeast area. We have an airport in Albany, New York, which is also the state capital. It's about 30 minutes from campus, and that is also a really great connecting point if you are wanting to take the trains. We actually have a train that comes straight to Saratoga Springs as well. And those trains can take you just about anywhere in the Northeast. I know my Northeast folks are probably aware of that, but my West Coast folks, if you know, we have 3 states out here. So it's not like that at all on the East Coast. Everything is so kind of like clumped together and it's just really easy to navigate around. And Skidmore itself is a pretty accessible campus for students. We have a bus system that will run about every half hour, I believe, and that will get you to downtown. And with a Skidmore student ID, it is completely free. But also we are about 20-30 minute walk from downtown as well. So if you are someone that likes to walk on a nice day, you can grab your friends and walk downtown as well. And I wanted to also ask our student ambassadors, since you all have spent some time at Skidmore in Saratoga Springs, what do you enjoy most about the town, about, Saratoga Springs, the cafes, arts, or the downtown life?
I mean, there are many things to enjoy about downtown. It's a very long list. I think a couple of things that stand out for me is especially how easy it is to get outside. I spend a lot of time walking through Northwoods on Skidmore's campus, which is about 150 acres of woods that we have a part of campus, which is super cool. There's also the Spa State Park, which is about a 15-minute drive from Skidmore. They have some great trails. If you're into camping, you can also utilize Skidmore's Outdoors Club, which has a gear shed where you can borrow different equipment. So you don't have to buy new equipment if you want to just try something new. Downtown Saratoga is also super fun. There's always a lot of good events. I notably there's this vintage pop-up that happens once or twice a year. And it's just like a bunch of vendors set up booths in this building. It's super cool. And then finally, there's also SPAC, our performing arts center in town. It's our Live Nation concert venue. I've seen artists like Pitbull, T-Pain, and Dave Matthews Band there. And I'm actually seeing Jack Johnson next Wednesday. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely very cool to have a venue like that so close to campus.
Yeah, and SPAC is also where graduation is held, which is very cool. It's a beautiful venue, and since it's a lot larger than our need for it, you can bring however many people you want. So that's quite a way down the road for all of you guys, but just something to keep in mind. And Teo did a really good job highlighting what's great about Saratoga. Um, there is lots to do. It's a fully functioning town that we sort of exist right on the outside of. So it's really nice because we can sort of plug in for any activities that you want to do. Um, in particular, there's an event called Chowder Fest that happens in February. So one weekend, they will shut down the main street, Broadway, and all of the stores and restaurants will offer their own version of a chowder. So some places, of course, it'll be like a typical sort of clam chowder, like your standard, but Ben and Jerry's will do fish food as their chowder. The Saratoga Chocolate Store does like a hot chocolate that has like a raspberry something in it. So lots of different options there. All of the chowders are like $2, so you sort of just crawl from one place to another. And this past year, we had about 80,000 people come to Saratoga for it. So it certainly is a really well attended event. I love to just go and sort of people watch. And um, the whole point of the chowder is that it keeps you warm because it is in February. So walking around outside is definitely a little bit cold, but that's always fun. So yeah, I'm really happy that I've gotten to know Saratoga over the years, and especially now that it's summer and we're living here, it's really beautiful to go and walk into town. And Teo mentioned the vintage market. There's one that is every month. It's called the Second Sunday Market, and that happens in Congress Park, which is um, just located right in downtown. And I was actually there this past weekend. Got a new pair of jeans, so there's a lot to do.
I love it. I may or may not have given away my age to my reaction to Pitbull and T-Pain. But that is such a cool mix. Can we talk about Pitbull, T-Pain to Jack Johnson? So there's really a lot of variety that comes to Saratoga Springs. There's a little bit for everyone, I'd like to say. If you want a little bit of kind of like the small town vibe, or if you want some like city action, if you want the outdoors, there's just really a lot of things for students to enjoy in the community. And I also want to touch on what we call Scribner Seminar. So this is kind of a hallmark for the Skidmore first year experience. And essentially the Skidmore Scrub, oh my goodness, I can't speak. The Scribner Seminar is an interdisciplinary faculty taught course. So basically, each professor will bring kind of like a personal passion or curiosity to the class. And then the students are able to kind of critically think through just being able to like gather and interpret some evidence or make connections with these disciplines. And it allows students to further like communicate effectively and just provide the foundation to reflect into like their own thinking and just being able to share their own experiences as well. And we have so many. There are about probably 50 or more unique seminars each fall for students to choose from. So for our ambassadors, I'm curious to hear which Scribner seminar you took and which, just like why you chose it and your overall experience with that.
Mhm. So my Scrivener seminar was called Plastic Fantastic. It was an environmental studies type course, but of course they're all interdisciplinary. So we covered all things about plastic. We learned about its history, chemistry. We learned about, of course, the environmental problems and health problems, but what I thought was really cool about that class is one of the culminating projects was an art project. So we made plastic art that was supposed to have a message, and we visited the Tang Museum, which is our on-campus fully functioning museum. And we learned about art curation, and we had to put like an exhibit up around campus with our art. So I had plastic flowers that my friends and I had made, and those were in the library for a little while. But one of the great parts about the Scribner seminar is just that it's sort of like an initial family while you're at Skidmore, just your first semester to help you adjust. So my professor had everybody over to her house in September, and we did a bonfire, and she made dinner for us, and we met her family. So that was such a great experience, and like really set the tone right from the start that like Skidmore certainly has like a family environment, and a lot of the professors really care about you on an individual level. So I think that was cool, and definitely is something that stuck with me.
I took a Scribner seminar called Music Mix and Remix. It was basically about creativity and originality in music. And it actually ended up being one of my favorite classes that I've taken outside of my major. It left a lasting impression on me. We looked at how musicians have borrowed ideas from one another throughout history, from like classical composers to modern sampling and remix culture. We also covered stuff like plagiarism, copyright law, and cultural appropriation. So it kind of joined together the ideas of music and history and law and ethics in just a way that I hadn't really thought about before. And what one of the best parts, I mean, Aiden talked about this. It wasn't just really sitting in a classroom. We got to do fun outings together. I think something that really stuck with me is one of the last days of class. We went to this apple orchard and we got to eat donuts and apple cider, which was really good. But it's experiences like that in a class that just leave a lasting impression on you. And then I'm really just echoing what Aiden said here on the fact that it just gave me a kind of a built-in family my first year. You're seeing familiar faces on campus, making friends very early on, which really makes that transition so much easier.
Mhm.
That is so lovely. And that really ties into having that like small liberal arts college community. You're learning about students and professors, not only in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom too, and being involved with the community. And it's just, we really encourage students to, if your interest is dance and you've never taken like a biology course, go ahead and jump in. Vice versa, if you are like super into calculus and you're like, I kind of want to try singing and I kind of want to try choir, go for it. There is just no wrong way to go when it comes to Skidmore. Creativity is just the foundation of who we are. And we also really encourage our students to try things like studying abroad, looking for internships, research opportunities. Those are really important to build that connection as well when it comes to, the community and outside the classroom. So I would say about 85% of Skidmore students are participating in some sort of internship, whether this internship is for credit or it's an internship over the summer to build some transferable skills. We have the support from the departments, from career development centers to help students, whether it be creating a resume or, figuring out, can I take a course in a country that I've always dreamed of learning about their culture. So it's a really great way to get connected outside as well, and really build on who you are as a person and who you're becoming as a person as well. We have a lot of research opportunities at Skidmore, especially within the sciences. We have a new science facility center for integrated sciences, and we offer labs and maker spaces. And one thing I love to touch on, because I am most definitely an arts girly, is we do have a museum on campus, and it's the Tang Teaching Museum. This provides a space for our students to engage with art hands-on, whether that be curating art, meeting new artists, or just studying in a gallery environment. And when it comes to traditions at schools, we are actually able to take pieces of art from the museum and check them into your dorms. And I think that is so incredible because not a lot of places, offer that. Number one, that takes a lot of trust. So you know that students really value the arts because we are trusting you to, take on this responsibility, but also spreading the arts as well. So a lot of students like to take part in that. And I wanted to ask regarding study abroad, internships, and research, if you all would like to share your experience in any of those categories, multiple categories.
Thanks. I'm happy to touch on some internship stuff. So right now I'm working as a digital media intern for the Ukrainian Classical Voice Project. It's a affiliated program with Skidmore. My role involves capturing events that they put on through photography and videography, and then ultimately editing that content for like a YouTube video or an Instagram video. Um, it's been a really cool experience because I'm actually applying skills that I'm using for my major and learning in class for projects for an organization that's actually doing really meaningful work. I've gained a ton of experience, and while also helping to preserve the classical music of Ukraine and the culture as well. Um, Recently, I actually traveled to Cornell for them. I had to cover this Voices of Ukraine concert they were doing. And I had the opportunity to hire my dad as well, who's actually a professional cinematographer. So he got to work the event with us. So it was definitely cool to actually work with him on a real project. And it gave me the experience of managing an actual real world media project. Um, yeah, and I think, yeah.
So, what I'll add to the internships is that Skidmore has great resources for funding for internships and also like lower unpaid job experience. So, last summer I worked at an environmental nonprofit and I applied for and got the Skidmore Experience Fund, which is a $4,500 stipend that goes towards summer experiences that are lower unpaid. Also, what students can do over the summer is do on-campus research. So currently on campus, we have about 100 students here that are doing research in all kinds of departments, sciences and humanities alike. Students that are coming for 10 weeks get a stipend of about $6,000. Their housing is covered, their meals are provided fully. So that's an incredible experience that lots of students will take on um, and get involved in research. So beyond that, I can talk about my study abroad program. So last fall, I studied abroad in Ecuador. I did a program through like a third party abroad organization that Skidmore connected me with. So I spent half the semester living in Quito, and then I spent the other half of the semester living in the Galapagos, which was incredible because I was there on an island of about 6,000 people for 10 weeks. And there was a university there that had a lot of marine science programs going on. And so every week we would do field trips and we would go boating and do different snorkeling trips and hike on the different islands. And while I was based in Quito, we went to the cloud forest for a field trip. We also went to the Amazon for a full week and got to study there. So that program was certainly once in a lifetime, and I loved the people I met and my professors, but a lot of abroad options for you. So there are two Skidmore specific or Skidmore run programs. So we have a program in France and then also one in New Zealand. But then beyond that, there are about 118 other options that are either through different universities or through sort of like third party abroad orgs like the one that I did. So really you can do an experience that looks like a lot of different things. And also something that I think Skidmore does, or that I know Skidmore does, that is very cool is travel seminars. So if you maybe don't want to go abroad for a full semester for the year, you can do a course on campus here during the semester where you travel with your class once the semester ends and your professor, and you go to another country for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. This past semester, we had seminars go to Ireland, There was one in Japan in the past. There have been ones to South Korea, Costa Rica, um, lots of other places. So if you have any interest in studying abroad, it's very cool. And what I'll say also is that your financial aid transfers to any abroad program that you do for the semester. So it's the same as if you were here on campus.
And I will say too, I work with our student interns, and I have heard from multiple interns that they have not only studied abroad once, they've studied abroad twice, three times.
Mhm.
So really fitting that in to your college experience, if that's what you're looking for, I 100% advocate for it because I did not study abroad in college and I regret it. Oh my goodness. All of my friends were studying abroad, and just the things that you learn being, in a different culture and immersing yourself in that
Mhm.
culture outside of the classroom, is just unbelievable. So if I could redo my college experience, I would study abroad 100%. It's one of the very few times in your life that you may have to, have this opportunity. So if you are interested and able to, definitely reach out to the department to help you set that up and fit that into your Skidmore journey. I also want to touch on some campus life, residence life, and dining as well, because when it comes to campus life, 90% of students are living on campus. So whether that is in a traditional hall or suite style or an apartment, it's just a great way to build community as well as when you are on campus. If you're like me, I love to sleep in as much as possible. So being super close to your classes is a big plus. And so living on campus is just great. You have the dining hall right there as well. You don't have to worry about commuting to the campus either. We have a lot of dining options. They are varied and flexible. And you will realize as well that the dining hall is not necessarily just for food. It's also a social hub. Students will go to the dining hall and sometimes they'll spend hours in there just chatting. Maybe they'll, pull out some books and start studying. It's all you can eat style buffet. And we have a very wide range of foods to choose from as well. And we have an abundance of clubs at Skidmore for students and organizations to be involved in. These range from athletics to the arts to service, media, so much more. And I don't know if either of you have like some campus life clubs and organization experience that you want to touch on, or even just what makes the campus fun or like overall for you. But I will hand it off to you all.
I think one of my favorite, I mean, getting involved is what it sounds like. And I think one of my favorite ways to get involved, we have three different art galleries on campus. So there's constantly new openings happening. And usually at these openings, there's catered food. So it's kind of a plus. But really, it's a great place to meet with people, to see faces that you know, maybe see someone in the department that you've met before, or haven't met before, but you see them all the time. It's a great place to meet them. And a great place to talk about art and just really connect with different people. That's probably my favorite way of getting involved. I try to go to every single opening that there is on campus.
Yeah, it is certainly great because we have about 3,000 like club or other events going on every academic year, which is more than the students we have. We have about 2,700 people here. So there's always something going on. I am involved in Wispin, our radio station. So that's my only club. I swim, so that takes up most of my time. But through the radio, they will do different events. There is a drag show that they do yearly. We also have through the Student Events Council or Committee, we do a big show in the fall. So we've had artists like Natasha Bedingfield come in the past, and that'll be like a big concert that's in the fall. We also have a big Earth Day festival that goes on in the spring. But beyond big events like that, like Teo mentioned, just stopping by different sort of things that are going on that are catered is really great. So I always go to the literary arts magazine is called Lunchbox. Lunchbox will do launch parties in the Tang Museum, and they have great food there. So I've gone every single semester despite not having any involvement in the magazine, but it's cool to listen to some poetry and have some food. Um, and then, yeah, I touched on this, but because over 90% of students live on campus, it certainly is like a nice bubble sort of community. The dining hall is definitely a place where, like, freshman year, I would normally do like two lunches and two dinners because when you live in the dorms, you have an unlimited meal plan. And I had the time and I wanted to see like different groups of friends for meals and also eat. So I would go multiple times, and I'm definitely someone that is a fierce advocate of the dining hall. Um, in terms of dorms and like res life, typically students will live in a dorm their freshman and sophomore year, and then as they become an upperclassman, junior and senior year, they would likely move to the on-campus apartments. I'm in an apartment right now. And I'm looking out actually to the volleyball court that's in my backyard, and one of the other admissions ambassadors is playing volleyball with some of her friends out there. So that is happening right outside, and there are grills out there. I have Adirondack chairs and a fire pit. So the apartments are really awesome. They're fully furnished and 3 to 5 bedrooms. I have a full-size bed here in my room. So the apartments are really cool, and I've enjoyed my living experiences all throughout college.
That is awesome. I will say when I graduated from college, I remember the adjustment going from having a meal plan to no longer having a meal plan. I was like, I wish I had a dining hall for the rest of my life. It just makes your life so much easier. And the food in the dining hall is so good. Like I said before, I'm based in Seattle, so I am on campus 3 to 4 times a year. And I have the option to either eat at the dining hall or, try the restaurants in the area. And I'm definitely someone that loves to try local spots and things like that. But I have to go to the dining hall at least for like if I'm there on a Friday and it's Chicken Finger Friday, you bet I am at the dining hall. They just have everything you can imagine. They have some really good dietary options as well. And it is just the cookies are. I have a really bad sweet tooth, so you will see me eating way too many cookies in the dining hall. But yes, I absolutely really love just the community at Skidmore and seeing everyone come together. And then we did have a question I wanted to touch on, see if any of you knew the answer to, but I'm pretty sure for campus breaks, when it comes to like winter, Thanksgiving, you are allowed to stay on campus, right?
I can absolutely speak to this.
Correct.
I stay on campus for every single break. I'm here all summer. I'm going to be here right up until students get here in the fall. And I've been here since last summer, you know? So if there's someone in the Res Life department named Mark, he is kind of like the wizard when it comes to all this stuff. You just need to send him an email and he'll make sure that you're covered to stay over break.
That is awesome. And I know there are some departments on campus that if you get like an internship or something, they can sponsor your housing as well. But yeah, Mark would be a great connection to email in campus housing for any of those questions. And it also looks like someone wants to know what does a typical day look like for you as a Skidmore student? That's a really good question.
So it certainly depends on the day, but usually during the school year, if it were a weekday, um, since I swim, unfortunately, my day might start with morning practice at about 6 a.m. But if I have afternoon practice, then I would just get up, go to class. I like to take morning classes. I prefer to have my things done earlier and then have my afternoons free. So we don't have any classes earlier than 8 a.m., but I would usually have a class at maybe 8 or 9 a.m., go to class. Now that I'm living in an apartment, I have like we can do a tiered meal program. So I have a certain number of swipes, and I usually only eat on campus for lunch. So I would probably stay on campus between class, eat lunch at the spa, which is our other option besides the dining hall. They have lunch food, so they have like soup, sandwiches, burgers, salads, that sort of thing. So I'd probably eat with one of my friends there. Maybe I would go to the library to do a little work. Ideally, if this day were in warm weather, I would definitely be sitting outside. We have lots of Adirondack chairs everywhere on the green and then also out front the library. So maybe I would throw the frisbee with one of my friends, do that, probably come back for dinner. Yeah.
I'd say my day looks very similar. I also love doing my classes, getting everything done in the morning. I'd say the only difference between that, because I do also spend a ton of time outside when I can, if it's not too cold. I'd probably end the night with a couple movies.
Mm.
Yeah, that's great. We have another question that came in. What do you think is the most difficult part of starting college?
There's a lot of things to do, a lot of people to meet, and it feels like you have no time to do it all. But I promise you, you do, and you will meet people if you are getting involved. If you're going to, I mean, we have 3,000 events at Skidmore and only 2,700 students. So there's plenty of opportunity, and people are going to these events. So just get involved early, and I think you'll be okay, truly.
Yeah. I think it can be hard um, with so much to do to like make sure you're still prioritizing whatever like things you need to do for yourself. Or I feel like my freshman year, I spent so much time with my friends because I was like, wow, we all live together. This is so awesome. We can just see each other all day. Um, that by the end of the year, I definitely was not burnt out, but um, needed to sort of reset. And then when you come back sophomore year, you sort of like learn and like adjust to how you best like handle maybe a college schedule. You can sort of be like, okay, maybe I'm going to say no to a few things and, like hit a little bit of a balance. But that's like a great part of college that it's just like learning more about yourself and figuring out like how to balance your time well.
I would add as well, although I did not go to Skidmore, I feel like just like as an overall college experience, my first 2 years of college, I was very, very much only concerned about academics, which is not a bad problem to have. But so much to the point where I did not start getting involved in things until my junior year of college. And once I started getting involved, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. Like I'm meeting new people, I'm making community. And then I just wanted to get involved in everything. And to this day, I wish I would have started sooner. I was worried about what the balance would look like with balancing your academics and getting involved. And so I did start in kind of like a little community within my residence hall that was specifically for arts majors. So that was like a good way to get involved, but it wasn't until my junior year that I was truly getting involved with like a cappella groups, residence life, peer mentorship. And then it got to the point where I was walking around campus with my friends and I'd always see someone that I knew and my friends would joke and be like, "Do you know everyone?" And I'm like, I love getting involved in everything. And so I'd say definitely, learning how to balance the academics, but also making sure that you're not only focused on that, also focus on, meeting new people and creating that sense of community because it's all going to tie in together for the college experience. And then when you graduate, you are going to miss being able to just walk down the hall and someone has their door open and you're like, "Hey, what's up, everyone?" I talk about that with my friends to this day where we're like, gosh, don't you just miss when we could just be like, "Hey, let's go to the dining hall and we'll just walk over," or it'll be 2 in the morning and we're at the library studying. Like, it's just the sense of community really ties in the college experience together. And then I also want to make sure I leave time to chat through the admissions process and a little bit of financial aid as well. So when you apply to Skidmore, we like to say that you are applying to an institution where creative thought matters, truly. We want students, like I mentioned before, to take advantage of the traditional majors such as business, psychology, biology, just naming a few, but also broaden those horizons with interdisciplinary education, tie in some humanities, some arts, some social sciences, and really kind of grow who you are as a person and kind of create that well-rounded curriculum while you're at Skidmore. For the application, we are on what is called the common application. I'm sure a few of you are familiar with the common application. I know a lot of us on here tonight are, or today, depending on where you're coming from, are rising seniors. So if you're not familiar with the common application, you will probably start to hear about it more now that you are a rising senior. But essentially, if you're applying to multiple schools, you fill out this application and then you will put Skidmore into the application. So you don't have to fill out like 10 separate apps. We don't require any extra essays and we are test optional. So if you would like to submit a test score, you are more than welcome to, but you're not required to. We are only going to base your admission based off of what you are submitting to us. And we take part in what is called a holistic review process. So each member of our team will be reading through the applications with care. We truly take time to read through everyone's application, your activities, your interests, your essay. We discuss with one another when it comes to being a Skidmore fit, really looking into the transcript and making sure that you have a really solid foundation when you are applying to get your college education. So truly, we are looking at you overall as like a whole and not only looking at you as a GPA. We are sitting here reading these applications. We are meeting you on the road. We are getting to know you as you ask us questions, as you attend these events. We truly just love getting to know our students. And we meet 100% of demonstrated financial need for admitted students. We have a wonderful financial aid team and financial aid office that is able to assist with answering any questions regarding the FAFSA, the CSS profile, just, receiving scholarship, grants, what are the differences, loans, things like that. But we do meet 100% of that demonstrated financial need. And we have a variety of different ways to stay connected with Skidmore. Like I mentioned, through events like the info session that you are on right now. We also have, I believe Teo mentioned the student Ask Me Anything chats. So these are Zooms where it is only with current Skidmore students and prospective students. We don't have a staff member, so I'm not in the room. I will start up the Zoom and make sure the technology is working, and then I bounce. I'm out. So this is a really great opportunity for you all to chat with current students and ask all the questions you might be scared to ask. Like you can be like, is the food actually that good? Or was she just saying that? And they're going to be honest with you. They are going to tell you how it is. So that's a really popular one for students to join in as well. And I always like to say, check out our website to see the upcoming virtual events and also check in with the counselor for your assigned territory and see if they are visiting your high school or if they are going to be in your area, if you can give them a call to ask any questions. We just love seeing that students are interested in us as much as we are interested in them. And we have an event coming up in July as well. We have a summer open house. It is Saturday, July 25th. Again, more information on our website, so you don't have to put all of this to memory right now. But it's a great way for students to come to campus and see what it is like to be a Skidmore student. You will experience all the things and you can sign up on our website. You can give us a call and we can sign you up as well. So we have a summer open house and we also have a fall open house. The fall open house is usually around the time of fall break. for schools that have a fall break. I know not all schools do. And so we just want to make sure students are able to attend, whether it's in the fall, if that's easier travel wise, or if you're wanting to come in the summer. But you will likely see, student ambassadors working. You will get to meet the staff as well. We could have some faculty members that might be on campus as well. Just really a great way to get to know Skidmore. So again, you can sign up through our website. You can keep an eye on emails from us. Every month we send out kind of like a monthly event digest with what's coming up. We also have Creative Thought Works. So that is for Skidmore alumni to kind of come back and join on Zoom and let you know what's going on post grad. As much as you all are already thinking about, your college experience, before you know it, you're going to start thinking about the post-college experience and how you get from being a college student into that post-grad experience. So whether that means you are continuing on to med school or you are continuing on to grad school, maybe you are trying to get a job lined up, your internship is turning into a job. Maybe you're taking a year to just go abroad and, maybe do something, take a gap year in between graduation and getting a job. It's whatever is best for you and whatever is most comfortable for your lifestyle, but you get to hear all the different perspectives. So, sign up through the website the same way you signed up for tonight's info session. We love to see you all and get to know you. And then I want to also leave some time for any other questions. So let's see. We have one more question for our ambassadors in here. So how prepared do you all feel for life after college?
Mhm.
Um, I think,
So you can go.
yeah, okay. Um, you know, this is a difficult question, especially looking at it from the eyes of a senior in high school. Um, I have changed just in the last 3 years, or even just in the last year. I have changed so much, and everything that I thought is completely the opposite now, and all that stuff. So I think that goes to say that I do feel prepared for life after college. I'm looking at grad school right now. I'm looking at going into film school, actually. Um, and that's kind of the next few years are probably going to be me in New York City going to film school, hopefully. But even after that, like I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever life throws at me. And I think just through well, like what with Aiden said, with getting involved so much and hanging out with friends all the time, through learning through experiences like
Mhm.
that, and like through the relationships I've made with professors, I just feel very prepared for life, whatever that may be, you know?
Yeah, a huge part of going to a liberal arts school is taking classes in a wide variety of areas and just developing as a person outside of what your specific academic or career interest might be. So I feel like all of the exploration that I've done has made me learn more things about myself, and that only makes me a stronger candidate for jobs or something in the future. I met with one of my professors today actually to talk about career advising because I don't know what I want to do. And so I've been meeting with her a couple times since this past semester to talk about um, like mapping out my interests and what type of careers I could do. I've of course, taken advantage of lots of opportunities here at Skidmore, but I don't know what grad school or next step might look for me. So, yeah, we were talking about jobs that I could apply to or like jobs that would be a good fit for me. So, something that's really valuable about being here with small class sizes, a place where you would have multiple classes with the same professor and have multiple advisors. You have those like people to help you when it comes time to graduate and figure out what you're going to do. So I've totally leaned on my professors for that.
I think one more thing to add is just like I understand you're worried about it now, but just you're going to be a completely different person in 4 years. Wherever you end up,
Hmm.
your worldview is going to be different, and you're going to feel very different about where you are at in life too. So definitely take it slow, and you'll be ready when you get there.
And if I can provide my perspective for after I graduated from college, um, I graduated in 2019. So if we remember correctly, a year after my graduation, we had a global pandemic. I went to school for arts administration and I actually started as a music education major. Like I said, big arts person. And my hobbies are singing, playing piano, being involved with choir, a cappella groups, all the things. I minored in music history and music theory, big music nerd. But I always thought my dream job was to either be a music teacher or to work in an arts organization. And so, I took my classes and essentially for arts administration, Skidmore does offer arts administration as a minor. You are taking business courses, but they are more geared towards nonprofit business and kind of like, for example, I'll take accounting, but it's more focused on accounting for an arts organization. So it just made it more fun and more interesting for me. Um, I graduated, I switched my major to arts administration, graduated, and started working at a local community theater as a box office manager. And then I ended up getting furloughed when the pandemic hit. We had to furlough all of our staff. And I was less than a year in post grad, just lost my job, something completely out of my control. And it was then that I realized I wasn't as upset as I thought I would be. And I had a moment of realization where I was like, maybe I'm meant to do something different. Maybe I'm meant to love the arts, but maybe I'm meant to do something different. And I think it took a lot of time for me to also accept that it's okay to change your mind. And then I started thinking back on things that brought me joy. And when I was involved with residence life and working with like our incoming students as an orientation leader, I really found a lot of joy in that and helping students, kind of be more acquainted with coming to college. I'm a first gen myself, and I spent a lot of time researching and Googling. I didn't connect with my admissions counselor, and I want to make sure students have a different kind of experience. I want them to feel supported in that. And so for me, I was like, maybe I will just take on a counselor role at like an enrollment counselor role. We are mid-pandemic. It'll get me by, it'll pay my bills. And little did I know, 5, 6 years later, I just fell in love with higher education. And all of my skills that I learned from my degree have transferred in. So I think that's also important. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay if you get here thinking you want to be a dentist and then you're like, actually, I think I want to be like a CEO of a company one day. That is totally fine to change your mind. Or maybe you want to run your own arts organization. Skidmore is really great about that. You actually come in undeclared. You do not declare your major when you get to Skidmore until I believe it is your second year. Um, so that's just really allowing you the flexibility to envision a future, either of what it has looked like your whole life or to change your future, being open and receptive to that. And so that's my post-grad story. Everyone's always like, how did you get into admissions? And I'm like, oh, how did I get into admissions? It's a whole journey. But I think that's part of the process is just, falling in love with the journey. It's really scary if I think back to myself 10, 11 years ago and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in high school or graduating high school. What does the future even look like? Really try to stay in the present as much as possible. Enjoy the present and build your future as you go. Don't be so caught up in, oh my gosh, but what's going to happen in 4 or 5 years? I had, I can confidently say I had zero idea we were going to go into a global pandemic my first year out of college. Never even once crossed my mind. So you just learning the adaptability skills is just really important. And no matter, where you end up, like Teo said, it's going to be okay and you're going to be fine. and you're going to learn, a lot about yourself and a lot about your interests and your majors. Um, so yeah. I also know we have a couple international students on our call too. So I want to go ahead and share the contact for our international admissions representative. His name is Darren. He knows the whole process and he's absolutely wonderful working with our international students. So if you have questions that are very specific to the international process, I will go ahead and share his email. Let's see. I will answer it here. But his email is D, like Darren, Drabeck, Drabek, at skidmore.edu. So definitely connect with him. You can also find his contact information online. He is on WeChat as well. Very open to meeting students. He just got back, I believe, from a super long trip in Africa recruiting students. He recruits out of Asia and just, yeah, he is like our international guru, as I like to say. But yeah, let us know if you have any other questions. Feel free to pop anything into the Q&A. You can email us if you have a question pop up in the next few days, whenever it is, and we would love to get to know you. But thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much to Aiden and Teo for also being so wonderful and sharing your experiences. I know as much as I can speak to the admissions process, it's always 100% better to hear it from the students actually involved in the process. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Feel free to reach out, find your counselor's email on our website. And again, I recruit out west, so my Washington, Oregon, California, Colorado, and then I also take on some other states from around the country too. Just feel free to message me, and I will either be able to answer your questions or get you in contact with the right person. But have a wonderful rest of your day or your evening, wherever you are, and we will chat soon. Bye, everyone.